Jordan, did you see this ad? Check this out.
The most powerful iPad ever is also the thinnest.
All I ever need.
I would figure that it's because they just destroyed a bunch of stuff for no reason. And so people are like, how wasteful in this society. You know, they destroyed a piano, they destroyed a guitar and all these nice things.
Apple apologized for this commercial. They actually came out and apologized. That's how bad the backlash was.
Really?
To this. Yeah. What were they thinking?
People are scared that iPad is taking over these natural, normal human things like instruments and stuff. And it's like, look, you just need our digital product. You don't need anything that's actually human.
It's like, this is what we're worried that is happening. What if one day the ad is for your iPad as one of the things being crushed?
Here's the chip for your brain that we did, that now you can buy. So they just have a bunch of stacked iPads, all the different generations of them, and they just crush every iPhone. That when they do the little chip, they're like, I can't believe you would destroy all those iPads. And like,
this is what we've been worried you were gonna do. All the things that are real and true and good, like you can't keep getting away from them forever. At some point, the things that you replaced everything with, those are the things.
Those are the inspirations.
Replacing it with new stuff over and over.
Obviously, it's a disturbing thought, but like, I'm surprised that many people had that thought.
That gave me hope.
Yeah, I know. We're starting with it gave me hope. Great. Welcome everyone to the Blimey Cow podcast. Every Friday, me and Josh here, we make the world a little less messy. My name is Jordan.
And I'm Josh. Hey, would you like to come to camp with us? We'd love to see you in Tennessee, September 20th to the 22nd for BlimeyCon 2024. If you've ever wanted to roast some s'mores and talk about conspiracy theories with us, this is your chance.
I mean, we're talking live video recordings, games, tons of activities. I mean, Josh, it's going to be a full-blown summer camp in September. Head over to blimeycow.com/BlimeyCon 2024. Early bird ticket sales have been extended, actually. May 20th.
Yeah, okay? So this coming Monday.
It was the 16th. We've extended it to the 20th.
We wanted to give people till the end of the weekend. We're not doing that again, though.
No.
This is not a marketing ploy or something. I just realized, why did we end it on a Thursday?
It didn't really make
We should end it on a Monday so people have the weekend to pray about it.
Yes. So get your tickets right now.
And hey, if you want a free Blimey Cow t-shirt, then head over to supportblimeycow.com. When you join, you get a free Blimey Cow shirt as our way of saying thank you. And you also get exclusive video content, like a bonus segment of the podcast, and bonus messages as well. So head over to supportblimeycow.com today to join the best community on the internet. And thank you to Aubrey Church, Brett Bierschink, Savannah Robertson. All three of them joined this very week.
So many people. And don't forget to check out the Clips channel, everything that you love about the podcast, but without this darn time commitment. So new clips are uploaded every single day at youtube.com/@BlimeyCowClips. Check it out.
Thank you to Clean Fiction for sponsoring this episode. This print and digital magazine strives to place amazing clean fiction in the hands of those who would enjoy it. They specialize in indie fiction and small presses, so you'll always be finding new books you wouldn't hear about otherwise.
If you're interested in reading a Christian-based publication that curates, reviews, and promotes both religious fiction as well as clean secular fiction, Clean Fiction is the magazine that you didn't realize that you needed.
These pages contain book reviews from genre-specific reviewers, plus there are really cool serial stories from independent authors, there's devotions, poetry, and articles about various missions.
It's a fantastic community, and today is your last chance to get Clean Fiction's fantastic offer to the Blimey Cow community, a free digital version of the magazine.
So click the link in the description and check it out. Only available today. Today's the last day.
Yeah, it is. And then head to cleanfictionmagazine.com to find everything you need to get plugged into this amazing magazine.
We're making some changes around here. Shall we talk about it?
Sure. We love doing this podcast.
Oh, yes.
We really do. It's one of the highlights of our week. And we're trying to figure out exactly the best way to both do this podcast and also the Blimey Cow channel.
Yes.
And we're not sure if having an hour-long show and then shorter shows on the same channel is the greatest idea. We're not quite sure.
Yeah.
But we're honestly curious what it would be like, or the changes that would happen if we move the podcast to its own YouTube channel at Blimey Cow
Podcast. At Blimey Cow Podcast.
So that's what we're going to do. The podcast is going to officially move. Not this week, not next week.
The first podcast episode that'll be in June.
Yeah.
It'll be 3 podcasts from now.
So if you want to continue watching, go subscribe over there and check it out.
The channel is going back to what it was before the podcast. And if you want the podcast, it's now going to be at Blimey Cow Podcast. We have a very dedicated crew of people. And so I'm not worried about moving it to another channel. And I think hopefully YouTube will like the whole subscriber to viewer ratio.
And figure out who the people are, because there's going to be not very many subscribers over there, obviously, but each person who's subscribed is the kind of person that would watch that. So maybe it would help YouTube to be like, oh, here's the kind of person who, and we can maybe send it out.
And again,
I think that would be good.
This channel, we're always like wondering about because, you know, for so long YouTube promoted it because we were making certain kind of content. We don't really make that kind of content anymore. And so YouTube's just like, I don't know who your stuff is. And now you're doing an hour-long show too. I don't know what to tell you.
Everything when you
sabotaged yourself.
Everything's kind of a shot in the dark. Like you never really know. So regardless, I'm excited for it to be on its own channel.
Me too.
Like even if it's not the greatest like strategic thing, maybe it is, but even if it's not, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of cool to have it on its own channel.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So at Blimey Cow Podcast, go subscribe starting in June. That's where the podcast will be. And further announcements about that to come. Okay. What else is going on?
Man, another top story. A lot has happened. I mean, you know, it rained so much this week. I mean, it was pretty amazing. Yeah. And I was trying to remember, you know, we had the Nashville flood back in like 2010.
Yeah.
And that's when like Opryland Hotel got flooded and all of downtown got flooded. I feel like it rained so hard this week. And I was like, maybe if it rained like another 2 days like this, that would cause that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It just didn't stop that time. That it just didn't. That's what I remember. I just think this rain is not gonna stop, and it's so hard.
Yeah.
And then when it finally did stop, it was like you went outside and you were like, "My Lord."
Yeah, your
This
friend's
is
house
crazy.
started flooding. That was pretty amazing. But this time there was that a lot of rain. I went outside. It was like, it was 1:30 in the morning. I woke up and I thought, oh, I need to go and make sure that the chickens are okay. It's hailing and I have some chickens that sleep in the trees. And, they're always, this happened before, but they've always been fine. But it was like really raining hard. And I was like, I also kind of want to see if it's dry in the underground doghouse that I built. That's like my big test. Because it's never going to rain this hard, harder than this for this long. Like that's really unusual. So this is kind of like the big test. So I went out there, the dogs are just in there. And on top of the doghouse is just filled with water, like crazy. I mean, like this much of water just on top of it.
Wow.
And I went down in there, and it's just completely dry.
That's right.
And then like my drainage system, there's water just gushing out of it, like around the foundation, and it's just perfectly dry in there. And I was like, dude, this is crazy.
You did it.
Yeah, it worked. And but I was like, well, I don't want all this dirt to erode on top because the whole erosion when you're on a hill is just crazy, and I'm on a hill. So it's just a constant battle. So then it's pouring down rain. I've got my rain jacket on. I'm like, got my light, and I'm assessing where it's just floods of water coming down the hill, and I'm making like this dam basically to now the AI is gonna get that.
Careful.
Somebody can make me say whatever they want. But there's this dam that I made while in the middle of the night to kind of make the water stop going to the doghouse, and so it kind of cut down on the amount of water that was on top of it. It's amazing. It comes down and it just fills that, and then it just rolls out and just goes down the hill. But like there's so much erosion, and dirt's not cheap. No. So I was like, well, I need to make this now. It's not dirt. Dirt's not dirt cheap. So I fixed that, and then I assessed where all the water was coming from, and now I have a plan to do to reroute the water.
Okay.
That's kind of the next kind of thing that I need to do.
Nice.
So it doesn't destroy everything. But yeah, the doghouse was great, and one of my chickens was knocked down, and I had to put it in the house. It was soaking wet. Normally, this particular chicken freaks out when I pick it up, but I picked it up, and it was just dead quiet, and I just put it in the chicken coop, and it was like, I've seen things. it was just like didn't say anything, so that was nice. But then also, the next day, or like 2 days later, this dog comes into my yard. And it seemed like a nice dog. It was a puppy though, and it's like a Belgian Malinois, and it's like one of those police kind of dogs. And it was friendly, you know, whatever. It kind of was chasing the chickens a little bit. My cat Cleo was suspicious of this dog, kind of chased it a little bit. My cat is chasing the dog, but you know, I'm there, so whatever. I can stop it. I'm like, okay, well, I need to find this owner. So we're like posting on Facebook, blah blah blah, getting nobody saying anything. Then all of a sudden, I'm playing with this dog, and it's incredibly athletic. Playing with sticks, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, the dog starts chasing one of my chickens, like, hard, and I run after it to stop it. And the dog stops, but then Cleo, my cat, just starts going after the dog, like attacking it. Like it saw Cleo saw me. Cleo's my outdoor like barn cat basically. She saw me chasing the dog while the dog was attacking the chicken and was like, "Oh, we need to stop this dog.
Let's do it."
And she just started going after this dog.
You coming from the right? I'm coming from the left.
The dog runs away a little bit, then turns around and just like latches onto her and just like thrashes her. I was like, she's gonna die. And Cleo's like the greatest cat to me.
Yeah.
Like she's so nice to me and mean to everybody else. But so anyways, I was like, I don't care what happens to this dog. I understand the dog's perspective, but like when a human being is standing there and the dog doesn't just run away when a cat is attacking, turns around and like literally starts trying to kill the cat, I was like, no. So I just kicked the dog out and I was like, I don't really care. Like,
get out of here.
And then somebody stopped by and picked the dog up and they were like, I think I actually might know whose dog this is. And I was like, okay, because it was like a whatever. So I was like, I don't know, dude. I can't do this anymore, man. Like the dog's killing my chickens. I don't know if my cat is dead now. I can't find it. She got thrashed and then she just ran away. And I was like, she could be bleeding out right now somewhere. So I'm like the whole day I'm looking for this cat.
Oh, geez. So you couldn't find Cleo?
No, that was why. That's like she was gone. And I was like, she's dead. Like these puncture wounds, this dog had huge teeth. I was like, she's gone. So I didn't know for hours. I was like, maybe so I'm like walking down in the woods, looking at all the spots that she goes to. I couldn't find her. I was like, well, she's gone. The dog's gone. Got rid of him. And then I finally walked around and found her in a tree. And I got her down. And she was just so scared and freaked out. She had like puncture wounds. And so I'd have her inside, putting stuff on her. And she's living inside now for like until she like recovers enough, and then I'm gonna have her go outside again because she like loves being inside, but she hates being inside at the same time. She gets really agitated if she's in for too long, much like me. So she really wants to go back outside. She loves the chickens, loves my dogs. She likes sitting around the dogs.
Yeah.
So
poor Cleo.
She's doing okay, but
when Mia gets a hold of a groundhog and starts doing that groundhog dies.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was thinking because you know Mia's not even as big as that dog was.
Yeah.
And Mia's not as aggressive as this dog was.
No, she's just very playful.
Yeah, this dog was like, you will die.
I'm going to kill you. Wow.
So that was disturbing.
Glad Cleo's okay.
I've always told Sarah, I was like, if, you know, I have other cats. I have another cat, but it's like.
You only got one Cleo.
Yeah. Tiamo is Sarah's cat. Mm-hmm. She really likes Sarah. And Cleo is my cat because I spend so much time outside and Cleo's just always around. I'm like, dude, if Cleo died, that would just be devastating.
How old is Cleo?
Oh, we actually got her at BlimeyCon one time.
Oh, that's right.
She was in a parking lot.
That's right.
And just a tiny kitten.
That's right. Didn't Erica find her? That's right. I remember that.
So
Erica's coming to BlimeyCon.
Is she?
She is.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So, she gave her to me and I took her home at BlimeyCon and I've had her ever since. That was probably 4 years ago.
There you go. Yeah, that would have been.
Maybe.
Wow.
So yeah, she's 4. Like she's just a tiny cat. So I want to make sure she's recovered so she can run away from stuff if she needs to.
Gracious.
Yeah.
Well, everybody pray for Cleo.
People are going to be so mad that we don't have Christian Meme Review, Josh. They're going to be so mad. I just said we're not going to talk about it. But look, we're going to try and separate the shows. If you want Christian Meme Review, you gotta watch Christian Meme Review. If you want Messyges, you gotta watch Messyges.
Yeah, this show is its own thing. It's its own thing.
It can stand alone.
That's what we realized. We're like, if we're gonna put the show on its own channel, hey, go. You know, you can. We do those shows. It's not like you're missing out on those television programs because we're not doing it on the podcast. We have a whole show dedicated to them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I say all that because I talk about the message.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But So my deep thought for today is I saw somebody comment. It actually kind of made me sad. Okay, there was somebody who commented and was like, they said that they want good messages. I sent in a message, and so I'm not going to make that mistake again because like they don't think my message is good.
Dang, nearly 20 years of saying leave good messages. I think that dates back to even the first episode.
No, I think they were. Yeah, no. I don't feel bad about that. That's funny. But like, I think one time we were like, hey. This person was saying I sent in a message, but they said no. We still have some messages in there, but they're not good messages. We need better messages. Yeah, I should have clarified that.
I see.
Yeah, when we asked for more messages, we were like, we need good ones, not bad ones. And they're like, well, I sent.
Oh yeah, I feel bad too.
And I was like, you know what? I've never actually thought about that, but when I'm saying that. If I was watching a show and had sent in a message that really meant a lot to me, and it was like, dude, your situation is stupid or it doesn't matter. Like you would think, what the heck, dude? Well, I'm not. So maybe I'll still watch the show, but like you're thinking about the person differently.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just say like, that's not at all like what we mean when we say a good message.
Entertaining.
There's like a mix of things that a message. Honestly. Every question is interesting, but the way that I'm not insulting the way somebody writes, but there's a certain way something is written or a certain angle that I can take on a question that hasn't really been done before, maybe the length of the question, but genuinely every question is interesting. It's just that some of them do well for a YouTube video and for a question that I can elaborate on. And Josh is very good at looking at that and knowing, okay, this question, Jordan's going to be able to say something. On this question, he's already said this before, or, what is he going to say?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. The two things I look for are, one, is there some kind of hook that maybe we haven't seen before? And two, can I guess what Jordan's going to say? And if there's a good hook and I can't guess what Jordan's going to say, I use it.
Yeah, and not to say that not everybody's question is unique, but because every person's question really, really is unique. But if you're the person going through it, it's unique.
Yeah.
But for me, having answered so many questions in the past, it's like millions of questions. You can see patterns in people's problems in a way. And so it's like, well, this question, even though it's unique to the person, we've kind of answered this one before. But maybe we could just start answering questions that we've already kind of answered before.
Go back to our roots. Go back
to the relationship. I mean, now I feel like messages are kind of more leaning towards, I don't know, questions that when you're 13, you didn't think you'd be answering.
Truthfully, a lot of questions that we get, they just don't have a ton of detail. It's just like, I like this guy, and I'm trying to figure out if he likes me. What do I do?
Maybe on the Blimey Cow website, I should write up, like I should have a bad question. And be like, hey, this is how you soup up that question to make it like a message question that would do well for the show instead of a very generic question. Like make it really unique.
I've got
I saw this
pointers for people. Keep it under 250 words. Give lots of details. Tell your story honestly, but make it interesting. Why is your situation unique?
Maybe we could literally just have like one little paragraph of here's a question that's really vague. Here's a question that's not vague.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Here's some details.
Write that up. That's a good idea.
Interesting.
That's a good idea.
Maybe I'll take a message that was really good. And then I'll be like, okay, how could they, and deconstruct it to be like, how could they have made this no details? And like Josh would have just looked over it. Oh, but wow, it actually was like one of the best questions.
Yeah.
But they just didn't give enough detail.
Right.
So anyways, that's what I wanted to say. I genuinely felt bad.
Yeah.
That person felt that way.
I get that.
What's your deep thought?
Man, okay. You know how people make such hay of when the Lord God himself, when he said, love your neighbor as yourself. Everybody kind of takes that as like permission to love yourself.
Yeah.
So what they say is, in order to love your neighbor, you have to love yourself
That's right.
first. Now, I've always taken that verse to mean more like, hey, you know how much you're into yourself? Maybe you should try being into other people as much as you're into yourself. I like to think of Jesus as more of a sardonic kind of guy. It finally occurred to me that really probably the actual truth of it is that when you think about the idea of loving yourself, it's not about like, and sure, these things are important that I'm about to say, accepting yourself and, you know, not beating yourself up, feeling guilty all the time. Like, oh, I should be doing more. I should be doing better. These are things I struggle with. So I'm not going to say, you know. But what I'm saying is when you say that you love someone else, that means that you're putting their needs ahead of your own.
Yeah.
So if you love yourself, you are putting your needs ahead of your own. But what does that mean? I think that means, like for me in my own life, for example, if I get to the end of the night, we get the kids down for bed, I have a choice. Do I love myself by getting in bed immediately, not snacking a bunch, and feeling much better in the morning, having a fresh start to the day? Or do I do what I want to do in the moment, the selfish thing, which is snack on stuff, sit down, accidentally stay up till 11, and then not get enough sleep the next day?
Which is what you need. You know what I mean? But then like what you really need is something else.
I could justify and say, you know what, I need some me time. And sometimes you do. You know what I mean? But as a habit, as a goal in your life, the point should be, what can I do for future me? How can I love the future version of myself? What are the decisions I can make now that are going to benefit future me? Maybe I should spend some time learning something. Maybe I should spend more time exercising or eating healthy or just getting more rest. I'm not depriving myself when I get in bed immediately and miss out on a few hours that maybe I could have enjoyed at the end of the night. It's better for me to make a decision that when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, you know what? Did I get to play a little Slay the Spire at the end of last night? Nope. But you know what? I feel so much better today. Thank you, past Josh. Thank you for doing that for me.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I did think of it the same way as you, like Jesus saying, like kind of almost being like, not sarcastic, but you know what I mean? Like, but that's an interesting perspective on that.
People love that verse.
Yeah.
They love to feel like, oh, good, I can love myself. Get over yourself.
These kinds of comments that like that comment, there will be comments below that are like, nah, these guys are just too harsh. Like they're just.
Look, that's what makes sense to me. Okay, that's my truth.
What's this conspiracy theory that you a moral panic?
Get ready for
this?
The new moral panic of 2024. Get ready. Jordan, there's a new moral panic, okay? People they're scared, they're upset over something so silly. They shouldn't worry about these things. Just follow the plan. Everything is fine.
So just for people like me that don't understand this lingo, moral panic means what? That means it's
a pejorative. The new moral panic, social media. It's meant to say, oh, this is just something that the people they just want to shelter their kids or
not allowed to watch Rugrats.
You're not allowed to watch Rugrats. You know, like in the 90s, it's, oh, don't let your kids watch Nickelodeon.
They won't let their kids drink Coke.
But then we're finding out. What are we finding out now? 20 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, we're finding out they were a bunch of perverts.
Yeah,
at Coke.
Exactly. You shouldn't
Nickelodeon.
You shouldn't have 30 grams of sugar in a drink.
The narrative has been set now. They're noticing that people are starting to get a little bit disturbed by social media, and they have to. This is the beginning of the counteroffensive. It's, hey, come on, normal people, well-adjusted people. We're not worried about social media the way that these worry warts are. And you know, the article even starts talking about how they're talking about banning social media for kids under a certain age. And I think we've talked about that on the podcast before. I don't remember where we landed on that. Do we like that idea? Do we agree with it?
I don't know. At this point in time, you know, everyone's lost their belief in God, and people are just entertaining themselves all day long. It's like, maybe we just need to start throwing out some laws so that we can like just survive a little bit longer. We're on our death rows, might as well.
Much of the concern regarding social media is fueled by a rise in mental health problems in the United States. Considerable attention has focused on teen girls, primarily consumers of social media and smartphones. The number of girls attempting to consider self-deletion has risen in recent years, contributing to the current panic. However, often lost in this discussion is that self-deletion among middle-aged adults, particularly men, are both multitudes higher and have risen more precipitously during the same period noted for teenage girls.
So it's just bad for everybody.
Like,
right?
They don't use social media as much, and they're wanting to self-delete as well.
See, the problem is it's like girls are comparing themselves to other girls. These like hot Instagram models.
Uh-huh.
So these girls just get psychologically destroyed. Then you've got men who are watching the Instagram models, and then they can't have a normal life because they can't do the do at that point. They can't do anything, and then they're basically they feel worthless. They have no. They have a job that they hate. If they have kids, it's like, wow, then you feel guilty because like, wow, why I'm still looking at, or they might not even feel guilty at that point anymore. They're just so wired into this, and then you have no hobbies. Your hobby is watching these. It's all. I feel like it all stems from the same thing. It's just a different take on it.
I would agree with that, and I'll even go a step further. I've talked about this book I've been reading called Boys Adrift, and it's talking about why it's so important for boys, but this is true for girls too. But this book is specifically about boys. But for them to have modeled for them things that are specifically boy things and things that are specifically girl things, because they're gonna find that stuff somewhere. If they don't have an adult teaching it to them correctly, they're gonna go find it somewhere else. So, to go along with what you're saying, if girls don't have a proper understanding of what it means to be a woman, then they're just going to compare themselves to, well, who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? And guys just are going to just wander around aimlessly.
Yeah, if they don't have
with no purpose, no hope. Or they're going to end up in like the manosphere or whatever, with guys saying like you shouldn't settle down with one woman. You should all this stupid stuff. So I was just shocked when I saw this Hill article in general. Just the idea that now it seems like the narrative is going to become, oh come on, social media is not too bad. It's like social media. Yeah, maybe you could have gotten away with saying that like 10 years ago or something. But at this point, I mean, you guys are the ones wanting to ban TikTok.
Yeah, I think that's why when you said the moral panic in your article, I was like, oh, right, because they're banning TikTok, right? So they're saying that it's bad.
You're the ones wanting to do it.
Yeah, but they're not saying that it's bad for kids. They're saying that it's bad because the Chinese government is indoctrinating. But we want Mark Zuckerberg to indoctrinate. Here's my question. Do you think that whenever they bring Mark in and they're like grilling him, do you think that they really care, or is it like, oh well, we actually want Mark to do this? I think it's always kind of a shakedown a little bit. I think that in some ways he plays ball with them, and in some ways he doesn't, and so they have to bring these tech guys in sometimes to kind of shake them up a little bit. Say, hey. You got to be working for us. You got to keep doing what you're supposed to do. It's just weird. It's like, it's like they're giving up one principle by saying no. It's a moral panic to be afraid of social media, but TikTok is bad because. We're xenophobes. We don't like the Chinese. The Chinese their government is horrible. It's just so strange. It's like none of it makes sense with any of the narratives that they've set. And so now we're kind of in this funky world where nothing really makes sense, because it's like, wait, I thought you guys were always talking about how we should love all the people of the world in every country. But now the Chinese are so bad that we have to ban a whole wonderful social media platform that they've created for us. Just because we should never doubt person made it. Yeah, it's strange. I think that's a good assessment though about why the statistic of the girls and men
If you were going to ask me, hey, what groups are probably having the worst off right now, I would say that young women and then men that are having trouble entering maturity, whatever age that is.
Men in their late 20s and early 30s, mid 30s.
Right.
Well, your late 20s, if you haven't had anything going for you yet, you're like, wait a minute. I got to start fresh at 30.
They got to have some kind of purpose going on.
Yeah.
And they don't. And so then they just end up looking for it online and just all these various different places. And
watching how-to videos, watching girls on Instagram.
I don't think they're watching how-to videos.
Well,
what are you talking about?
There's a certain vein that guys are just generally interested in, like, how stuff works.
Yeah.
So they might not apply anything that they're watching, but it's like, oh, I watched this engineer guy, like stuff made here. He made this, and then they can sound smart because they're talking about, oh, he built a frisbee launcher, and they're like watching this, but they're not actually like taking what he's doing, like, hey, I want to do what this guy, I want to understand engineering the way that this kid does, and he's able to do this, and he's like 28.
Yeah.
So then it's just like, then people they're just constantly watching. Like, I mean, that's why, I think that, like, the really big channels online are some of these science videos.
Okay.
But I'm just wondering if people are kind of like, if YouTube feeds them this stuff and then they feel smart because they're like watching this smart stuff, but then they're not I mean, look, I would much prefer that than watching. But it's a dark trap because all you spend your whole life doing is just watching things.
Yeah.
But you're not actually doing anything.
Yeah,
I get into that, so it's hard to explain how you start to feel worthless even while you're watching this, because it's like, wow, these guys are so much better than me. How do I even start this?
Okay,
what do I even do? And then it's like, well, oh, here's another video. Let me just watch this one.
Yeah,
and then you watch that one. And it's like, it's so easy to just click from video to video to video instead of being like, okay, let me put this down.
Yeah,
what's the first step? Okay, I need to get out a book and learn.
Yeah.
And do pre-calculus so that I can then get into calculus, so I can learn more. Or, oh, I need to do an electrical engineering thing. Yeah. And people definitely have the capacity to do that, but there's a big leap between just watching a bunch of, like, smart people doing stuff and then having the motivation to be like, okay, I'm not going to watch porn now. I'm going to get out a book and start every day doing math. That's really hard to do. Yeah. And you can get into that vicious cycle of watching I call them how-to videos and never doing anything with your life.
I would never pull up a how-to video unless I was actually trying to find something out. But I've also never really struggled with, like, having purpose or having a goal or a mission, because, you know, I was just writing about this in my journal last night. My journal. That since my early 20s, now into my mid 30s, you know, we've gotten to do something really cool. Yeah. But then at that point, and I really think and this goes along with what it's saying too about that middle-aged men that they're having these issues too. I really think that once you hit, and I don't know what age middle age starts. What is that? Probably 40. I'm guessing. I mean, that would make sense. 40. Well, I think that when you turn 30. I really think something starts to go off in your brain if you don't have kids yet. Yeah. Because I started to feel that, and I could tell you were feeling that too. Yeah. And I just think there's some natural instinctual thing that just says, I need to have kids now. And if you haven't had it by a certain age, it really starts to mess with you. It starts to freak you out.
What's the next thing in life?
Yeah, what am I doing? I guess
What's the point of all this? Like, sure, I have a house. I can work on stuff, but, like, for what?
For what reason? Right.
Like, you naturally want, like, now that we're having a boy, I'm like, oh, wow, that's going to be cool. Like, maybe I should put off building this thing because I kind of want him to maybe be 6 when he sees me doing this, and then I'm not going to have enough to do.
Yeah. Your entire brain resets in a way, and just think about everything differently. Like the amount that your brain is already thinking about that differently, once he's actually here, it goes even faster. Imagine. It's wild. And it's been so fun talking to you about stuff and noticing that, oh, his brain is preparing to be dad now. It's just so cool. So anyways, but you know, people are having fewer kids now, or they're not having kids at all. These guys have no example set, so they can't find women. The women are following influencers on social media. Nobody knows how to behave anymore. COVID kept everyone apart and jacked everything up for 2 or 3 years.
Then the seed oils. We
And the
haven't even gotten
seed
in.
oils. We haven't even gotten to the seed oils. I just I want to follow this thread and see how far they're gonna take this. Like, I think they want to treat this like as if it's like how the Christians were scared of Satanism in the 90s. Like, oh no, now you got all these parents worried about their kids having social media.
Well, there's got to be a reason. Maybe they're wondering if people are trusting social media less.
Yeah.
And they want them to because of the election.
Oh, that's
You know what I
definitely
mean? You need to be on as much as possible so we can divide you more and get more of our people out there or something. I don't know. Who knows?
No, I mean, yeah, that's saying saying the quiet part out loud or whatever. Like that's what it truly is about. It's like, even if not specifically about an election, though I think that's definitely a lot of it. It's the last like death throes of people that feel like they're not in control anymore.
Yeah, because if you're not paying attention to them, they can't control what you're thinking.
Right. It's like,
and then who knows where your thoughts are going to go.
Come back.
Who knows where your thoughts will end up if you're not constantly just scrolling Twitter.
Same reason they hate podcasting, and they try desperately to like pump money into it to like make podcasting more like official and more like with the narratives that they want to set, but they can't control it.
Oh,
they
that's
can't.
interesting. Yeah,
they can't do it. So they're losing control. They're freaking out. Now social media, which is very obviously, clearly very unhealthy for everybody, makes everybody want to self-delete. Now you're just some sort of simpleton.
Well, they were saying
hick.
Exactly.
If you have a concern about it, give me a break.
They were. I saw one article about people who were worried about boys who weren't wanting to sleep around.
Oh,
they were
I've
wanting
seen that
to
too.
Abstain from stuff like watching porn too and stuff like that. They're like, this isn't good.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Talking about.
Like, we need you guys.
We both need you to abstain from sex and have more children at the same time. Do you get it? That's the Christian model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, this is bad. They need to watch this more.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was saying.
We need you as plugged in and impotent as possible at all times. We need you need. Oh, geez, it's messed up, man. All right.
What's the? I don't even know whether that was conspiracy theory or that was deep thoughts. We don't even know.
Conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Next up on our program is It Gave Me Hope. It's always good to do It Gave Me Hope after conspiracy theory.
It is.
Or deep thought.
Yeah. You wouldn't think this was in It Gave Me Hope, but it really did. We're driving to Mother's Day, and the car just wants to die on me. It's just like, and I was like, oh no, what is this? So I quickly get to a parking spot that is away from everybody and that I can maybe work on it if I need to. We try and fix it in the parking lot. We get the belts, whatever. It's not that hard to do, but we realize we need something. We can't tighten something or loosen something. I mean, so I'm like, I need a tow truck. Call one guy. The guy is just so mean. Like from day one, as soon as he heard my voice, the guy was just evil, like mean to me. So that didn't work out with that guy.
Little witchy.
So then the next day, the car sits there overnight. Please God, don't get vandalized. I call the next day to another guy, and this guy is just. You know, you never know what you're going to get. I didn't even talk to him, actually. It was through my insurance. And he just says he's on his way in 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, please be a nice dude. So I drive out there. Sarah's dad is there with the guy. And the guy calls me before he shows up. And I'm like, the other guy was just so mean just from the start. I guess you never know with tow truck drivers. I guess this is the stereotype. Either they're mean or they're super nice.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's what the insurance person was telling me.
Oh, okay.
And this guy was just awesome. He was just like the nicest guy ever. Turns out the dude broke his back like 3 days ago. He actually doesn't even live here. He lives in Pigeon Forge, but he travels here to like work and then he goes back home sometimes.
Wow.
And he's like just the most positive, upbeat guy. His back is broken, but he's like able to like still work and do stuff. He like cracked it because a drunk driver hit him, and he's still out there. He's like. He just loves his job. I just
love what I do.
It was like, dude, I just kept telling him, I was like, dude, you're awesome. I don't think that you understand. Like, you're just like the nicest tow truck driver ever.
The stereotypes are true. I talked to a mean one and a nice one.
It's so true. You are a stereotype. No, but he was man, that guy was so nice, and it made a very stressful situation. Like, I'm only towing this car like 2 miles.
Yeah.
But like, what are I've never called a tow truck, so you're stressed out about that.
Yeah.
And the guy is super nice, and it was like the easiest thing in the world. I was like, wow.
There you go. I don't think I've ever had to call a tow truck.
They come faster than you think, so be ready to be there.
Okay.
But with my insurance, I didn't even have to be there because I don't pay. I pay per car.
Okay.
I pay $12.50 for one car, and then $12.50 for another car every 6 months. So it's $25 for. But like, I get this. They even gave me $30 for Lyft if I needed it.
Really?
And like all this stuff. But yeah, the guy was super nice.
That's cool.
That really gave me hope.
Good.
He brought peace in a weird situation.
Yeah.
And then we fixed the car up. Now I drove the car here, and the car is all good. It didn't even take that much time.
We got to update people at some point on this podcast about how Sarah's doing with the pregnancy and stuff. We hardly ever talk about it.
That's true.
We'll talk about it sometime.
We'll talk about it next week.
But she's doing okay?
She's doing fine.
Okay. It's coming up.
It is.
I'm freaking out. I'm getting excited. Very exciting week for puzzle game fans because they are putting out a anniversary edition of Braid, which was 2008 Jonathan Blow game, the guy who made The Witness.
Okay.
And so they're putting out an anniversary edition of the game. They've redone all the art and the music and stuff, and they've also added a ton of commentary tracks explaining how they built all the puzzles.
Oh, that's cool.
He said that if you are into making puzzle games or puzzle design, that like you're really going to be interested in it. So I can't wait. I'm excited to play through the game. It's been a long time since I played it again. I'm excited to play through it again and then go and watch all the listen to all the commentaries and everything. But
is this one going to work on like the Mac? Remember, I couldn't get the other one to work.
It is going to come out for Mac, I think, but it also is going to, you're going to be able to play it on your phone if you want. Through Netflix. It's coming out on Netflix. Okay. So when it comes out, which we're recording this on Monday, so it'll be out tomorrow. By the time you guys are seeing it, it'll be out for a few days. But yeah, if you have Netflix, just get it on your phone. You can play it on there. I hate playing games like that on my phone.
The iPad though,
or the iPad. You can use that too. Yeah, I just don't like. I don't like using the screen as the controller.
Either. But it works great for pinball.
Oh yeah,
pinball's like the greatest game to play on an iPad.
Yeah, if you've never played Braid before. It's one of the best puzzle games of all time, and I really think you're gonna like it, especially since you like The Witness so much. I've been on like a Witness YouTube kick, watching videos of people like talking about all the things about the game and interpretations and stuff. I enjoy that kind of thing.
I'll play it.
It's good. It's short. It's not a long. It's not like Witness. It's just like 5 worlds, and each world has a different time concept. Like, okay, in this world you just can rewind time. In this world you can when you move forward, time moves backwards. In this world you can drop a ring that makes time stop for everything in the ring, but life continues for.
Oh, okay.
And that's so you just have to solve a bunch of puzzles that you learn a new concept, and then it presents you with a puzzle that looks impossible, and you're just like, wait. But if this is true, how am I able to do that? And then you just, the game is about discovering all of that stuff.
That sounds fun.
I can't wait. It's been a long time since I played through Braid, but I remember.
I'll play that tomorrow then. And is the commentary going to be on Netflix as well?
Yeah, it's part of the game.
That.
It's part of the game. Yeah, I think you can play it normally, or you can turn it on. But it always says make sure you play the game first before you watch all the commentary stuff. And the commentary stuff is going to have like alternate puzzles and like. All kinds of things to play. I'm really excited about it. And I think the whole point of them putting it together is he has spent too much time on his next game and he's run out of money from The Witness.
Good grief.
And so because he just loves making games, he doesn't care about money.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, and so he made an anniversary edition. And basically when they announced the game, when it was coming out a few weeks ago, he said, hey, if you like these kind of games, please buy it. So we can fund this other one, because the games he makes now, he has to hire other people to work on them, and you don't think about it. If you pay people who know what they're doing,
you're getting
any amount of money, you pay them like 10 people for a year. That's $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
in a year for a game, just because you had to hire 10 people to work on something. So there you go. Braid Anniversary Edition. Go check it out.
My recommend is Vivobarefoot shoes. Okay,
Tell me
these
about
things
this.
are they're called zero drop shoes, meaning there is no heel on the back of this thing. And if you think, wow, why does every shoe have a heel? God made our feet to be flat like this. Why did Nike decide to make shoes that have a heel in them at all times? Like you're literally wearing high heels constantly, even if it's in a small sense you are. So this shoe is also very, very wide. It's a wide toe box, zero drop, but wide toe box so that your feet can splay out. Like
I gotta get a wide toe box in any shoe
Dude,
I have. It's so hard to find.
Yeah, you got to get these. These are expensive, but these are the best barefoot shoes. These are called Vivobarefoot. These are the best barefoot shoes that are out there.
Can you put an insole in it?
No, the whole point is that you don't want that. You want to have contact with the ground. They have this little flat thing, but you can actually take this out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not buying an insole and being like, oh, I want to have there be more cushion. The whole point is to strengthen your feet to be able to feel the ground more. So if I step on a rock, I can feel the rock very easily. If I'm walking on concrete, I have to walk differently than if I'm walking on grass because walking on concrete is harder on your feet. So it's all about just like fixing your stride when you're walking on different terrains. It's like being on barefoot, but it's protecting your feet from getting scratched and stuff like that.
I have to try that out sometime.
But see, these fold up like this. They're like are nothing.
Okay.
And I love these things. You can maybe find a sale sometimes, but I splurged on these because I do a lot of stuff outside, and these ones are even kind of getting ripped up.
You've had those for a long time,
I've had
right?
them for a long time now.
Okay.
But I'm probably going to buy another pair and have this pair be the kind that I could work in outside.
Could you run in those?
Yeah, you have. There's different. They have running ones.
Could you
too.
walk? Oh, they have running ones. They actually have running ones.
Yeah, but it will dramatically change your stride and running.
I'm sure.
Like you cannot run and strike your heel.
Right.
That's not natural. You have to run more on your toes.
Yeah.
Which is what people.
I've seen guys do that.
Yeah.
I've seen guys do that.
They might be wearing these when you see that. Anyway, so that's my obsession.
Barefoot shoes.
You just spend the money
There you go.
and pray to God that they don't break. I love those things though. That's the end of the episode, man.
We're done. What do you think?
Look, my favorite part of this whole thing is like the deep thoughts, top stories, conspiracy theories. Anytime we're able to just
meat
talk,
and potatoes.
Yeah, and maybe it's because we do messages on Messyges. We do Christian Movie Review on Christian Movie Review. So it's like when we're not doing those shows, I don't really want to look at those anymore.
Sure. You want to be in that zone.
Yeah, we're filming Messyges, and then I have to edit Messyges. So I'm rewatching the questions again.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
That's fair enough.
So then it's like this, like, okay, now I've got to do another message.
Yeah.
It almost takes the wind out of my sails. I like to just do it.
Compartmentalize. I'm working on this thing right now. And when you do the podcast, it's like, okay, I am working on four or five different things right now. And if it's your week to edit, I have to edit all this too. But yeah, this feels more congruous.
I think it's congruent. Well, it's congruent.
Congruent.
I don't know. That's the end of the show, guys. We will be back next week.
Show's a work in progress.
But go and subscribe on the other channel if you want to. Be
at
the first
Blimey
to
Cow
subscribe
Podcast.
Yeah,
be the first. At Blimey Cow Podcast. All right?
Maybe we'll give you something. We're not going to. We'll give you a subscription to our podcast YouTube channel. If you subscribe, we will give you the subscription.
There you go. All right, everybody.
See ya.